Hi there folks, welcome back to another video. This is Don at Affordable Desert Living. Well, today we're going to continue on with the saga of building my own front steps for the big home out of cinder blocks. And there was a lot more to this than I thought, but it's coming along really well and I'm loving this project. Okay, here's what I'm up to. These cavities need to be filled so that just in case creatures get in there in some way, what I want to do is fill them. And I'm going to fill them with something light because when I'm putting those in place, they're heavy enough as it is. I don't want to have to use any more senior power than I have to. Let's cut these to size, pop them in here, and then the very last layer, I can then put a little bit of mortar in there to top them off. So that'll do two things: make things nice and light, fill the cavity, and again, it's not structural, it's basically skirting, so it doesn't matter how sturdy that is overall, just that it sits in place properly. All right, there's our first one, and we just shove them down in, is what we do. There we go, there's that one. Once I find my knife. Here it is. There we go. Now we'll just put a little skim of mortar up on top. So another advantage to filling the cavities with the 2-inch foam board is that when these go under the house, the actual framing of the floor joists is narrower than this, okay? There's this gap or space like so. So anything that gets under the house can crawl in there, whether it be black widows or rodents or whatever. So with the cavities filled, that takes care of it. A lot of work, but I think it's worth it. Okay, well, the exciting beauty of this Mcgyverism is that the blocks stay nice and light, and yet they're all filled in case any pests crawl in there and try to make a home. Black widows here especially love crawling in cinder block cavities. I know that from experience. So first I'll put down a layer of mortar, and then I'll start putting these bricks in place. Okay, good morning folks. What I'm doing here is I'm putting what's called rodent barrier, and basically it's some kind of steel wool, and I'm putting that between the very top of this cinder block skirting and the foundation of the homes. And it's going pretty good so far, so let's keep going. So we're just going to fold it up like that, and then pop it in here. And I've already got quite a bit tucked under there already. I'm just adding some more. So I've only got 2 rolls of this, so I hope it is enough. And I found you could just use regular scissors to cut it. So that's a good thing. And it's pretty easy to work with, actually. Now's the time to do this before I put my steps in place. And any rodent that tries to chew on this is going to get a sore mouth for sure. Well, as they say, but wait, there's more. I'm going to use something called Tomcat rodent block, and it's expandable foam. So I hope I don't make a total mess of it. We'll see. Biggest issue is just keeping the nozzle clean. So it might expand a bit more. I'm not sure. It kind of looks like it might have expanded as much as it's going to. But if I need to, I can come back and just do a little bit more on there. But I think it's pretty good overall. So the key point I'm taking away here is build up your cinder block skirting so it's really close to the bottom of your foundation here. Then you don't need quite so much of this stuff. So when I originally designed the steps and that landing area, I thought, well, you know, I'll use specific measurements. So I scrapped the idea of having an exact measurement and just working with the blocks themselves. Okay, pretty exciting. I'm going to dig this out so that I can start putting the very first cinder block in place and get the exact height I need. It needs to be about 7 inches, roughly. There's some play there, you can be flexible, before the threshold here and the very first step. So I have to take into account that this is going to be 3 cinder blocks tall, and then there's going to be a 2-inch top paver stone that's going to face or be the very top section you're walking on of the steps. So really fun, hard work, but I can see some progress here. So let's keep going. Okay, I've got the all-important first block down, and essentially just leveled it all up. Okay, from here to the threshold is about 11 inches, okay? Now, you need to take away 2 inches for the height of the final block that's going on here. And also add probably about a ½ inch of material every couple blocks. And that's just my kind of farm math. And so what I don't want to do, because you can't correct it then, is build this up too high and then you're done. What can you do? Okay, and this part is really crucial. I'm leveling up each block one by one just to make sure that everything's going to be level up top as well. The important thing to note here is that with my earth here, beautifully, a very short distance and you run into this hard caliche clay. So once things are in place, like the home itself, for example, it doesn't go anywhere because our ground doesn't settle here, which is really great. Put that under to work with for leveling. Now that looks good to my eye, but let's see. Ooh, that's cool. Ha! Too nice. And it's done just like that. Okay, cool. One row done, the back row. 3 more to go. So folks, I want to take a moment just to show you something really important. You see this stuff here? It looks like I already put down some cement. That's nature's cement. It's called caliche, and it's basically clay, sand, and tiny pebbled rocks. And that's been there for thousands of years probably, but what it makes for is an absolutely beautiful foundation, whether it's for my whole home here or just some steps. Once you've set something down, it doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, that's working out really nice. The key, of course, is leveling meticulously every block. And that seems to be the trick. Now, it's going to go 3 blocks high. Has to be down in there. All right, needs to be pounded down about another 4 inches, and that'll be good. Not quite. There, that'll do it. Rebar is now super expensive, so I found these old fragments of metal stakes or poles around. So I'm just going to trim them down and make them work. There we go. Don't know what I'd do without a Sawzall. Looks good. That should do it. Alright, we're checking to make sure our rebar is below the surface level of our last tier of blocks. Otherwise that would be a problem. I'll cement it in, and then what are you going to do at that point? So, looks good. And I checked them all, and so looks like we're doing okay here. Well, folks, I sure appreciate each and every one of you who come by and watch these videos. And if this one was helpful in any way or you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when the next video is coming up. And there's lots more to do with these steps. So we'll see you on the next video.